we have people that are like, I'm an all or nothing girl. I'm an all or nothing girl. I'm either all in or all out.
I'm Cristy Code Red, and you're listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, where we believe food holds the power to heal or poison, and we believe our society has been misled regarding proper nutrition and weight loss. You're in the right place if you're looking for some straight up truth, because I'm here to shed light on the lies and brainwashing that has taken place over the past 5 decades. Thanks so much for listening.
Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I'm your host, Cristy Code Red, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Carrie, for being here with us. We appreciate you. We appreciate the listener. I do appreciate Carrie, but I always appreciate you watching on YouTube and listening on your, wherever you like to listen. We're everywhere. And people love these podcasts. They really do, sis.
And what's amazing to me is you continue to crank out good content. I mean, it's just like every time you come with me with ideas, I'm like, after this many, we still have ideas.
And I always worry that I'll run out of ideas, and then just life happens and we get new ideas. So today we are talking about do the next right thing. And this is I'll start us off with a story because Carrie actually came up with this idea. But a while back, I had done a video on it, and I've always been inspired by what I'm getting ready to tell you. So I think it's really great that Carrie was inspired and I was inspired, and we're going to come together and hopefully inspire you. Do the next right thing. Kristen Bell is an actress. She's been in many movies, and she's the woman who played Anna on the 2 Frozen movies. And she openly talks about in an interview about her depression and anxiety. And a lot of you guys, I hope I'm going to say spoiler alert, because I'm going to tell you what happens in Frozen Part 2. So spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you if you haven't seen it. I think everybody's probably on the face of this planet has seen it. It's one of the highest grossing revenue films. The Frozen franchise from Disney is one of the highest grossing revenue films in cinematic history. So probably not a big surprise of what I'm getting ready to say. In Frozen 2, Elsa dies. And when Elsa dies, the magic that keeps Olaf alive, Olaf dies too. And instantly Anna loses everybody. She can't find Sven. She can't find anybody, any of her family. They're all gone. And she is absolutely what you can imagine. Her sister's gone. Olaf is gone. Her best friend, her fiance, everybody's gone. And you can imagine that she is absolutely devastated. And she starts singing the song, Do the Next Right Thing, as she picks herself literally up off the ground. And in an interview, Kristen Stewart was talking about the day that she recorded that song, Do the Next Right Thing, in the studio. And she actually started to cry in the studio when she was recording. So the song that you hear in the film is her actually crying in the studio because it resonated so heavily with her, because she has debilitating anxiety and depression. She often has to tell herself to do the next right thing just to get up out of bed. So just make it. And you think Kristen Bell, I mean, one of the greatest voices of our time, one of the most sought after, highest paid actresses. She's married to Dax Shepard. They have from what we can see, they seem to have a great marriage. They have 2 kids. They don't have money problems. They don't have other problems. They don't have cars breaking down and things like that. And you'd think, what on earth does she have to be depressed about? But this is what she said in an interview. I always have to remind myself, what do I do when I don't know what to do? I do the next right thing.
I had forgotten that was a song in that movie. And I saw her on an interview at Ellen. She went into a full-blown panic attack kind of moment when she thought that she was going to get to meet a sloth, because that had been a dream of hers. And the emotions of meeting a sloth, which I know may sound silly to some people, it overwhelmed her so much that she literally sat there on Ellen and couldn't function. She cried so hard that she couldn't do anything. So she really does suffer from these very overwhelming emotions. And that's really interesting that she was affected so much. Well, my perspective, Cristy, comes a little bit different. I had a gal contact me on Facebook Messenger, and I won't say her name. I don't think she minds telling the story. And she just was not very far from goal. Yet she kept sabotaging and sabotaging. And she's like, and there were other issues going on. Like, I hate myself. Why do I keep doing this to myself? I don't understand. And so there's that self-hatred and why do you self-sabotage? But the other side was just this, this message went on and on about what is behind what I'm doing. Why do I eat the Cheetos? Well, the Cheetos are in your house. So let me just say that first. Like, it's pretty simple. But I struggle with the mental side as well, asking myself, like, how did I ever get to be 270? How did I get to be that person? Why was I so obese? Like, what allowed me to do that, but didn't allow Cristy to do that? Like, what, we're from the same genetic pool. And, I sometimes, and again, I still struggle with, I always want to make the right choices, but the fat Carrie is always wanting to get out and just forget it all. The middle finger to the world, F you. And I'm just going to eat whatever I want. There's still that struggle back and forth. And I think any recovering heavy person understands this. So I was reading this. I promise there's a point. I was reading this message and it hit me, Cristy, that this person had so overcomplicated weight loss. Now, do I think there are moments when it is about your abuse when you suffered when you were 5? Yes. Do I think there are moments when you need to recognize your triggers? That's why we have the emotional eating digital learning series called What's Eating You. Yeah, you need to know what they are. But do I think sometimes, Cristy, people just need to do the next right thing? Yeah. And I think we make it so cosmically big. And I think we need to bring it back to the granular. Do the next right thing. And it doesn't have to be about why. Why does it matter why? Why does it matter why? Just do the next right thing. And that's how that's how I was inspired. Although I like your story better about Kristen Bell, because we should all be watching Frozen. But, it's the same idea. Like, I was inspired from a different perspective on this topic.
Yeah. And I do a speak. There are a couple of different talks that I do when I am asked to speak or do a teaching or something. And one of them is developmental toughness. And one of the points I bring up is you are not the problem. The problem is the problem. So just solve the problem. And I did, when I talked about this a couple of podcasts ago, when I talked about the first round is always the hardest, you can't go into that whole, what's wrong with me? Why me? Why am I so screwed up? Well, I got news for you. We're all screwed up. So okay, like what do you, so, okay. So we got that out of the way. What can we, like, you just don't get hung up on the, what is wrong with me? Why can't I get this figured out? I have a PhD in psychology. Why can't I get this figured out? Why do I always do this? Let's just stop with the blame game and stop with the trying to hyperanalyze and do the next right thing, just the next step. What is the next step? Maybe it's just getting out of bed. Maybe this is so debilitating. Carrie, I've been there. When COVID first hit in March of 2020 and my Dallas event was canceled, I had health, wealth, and mind mastery. Yes. And that was there were 300 people coming, and it was just, I'm so excited about this. And we were hanging on, like we were not going to cancel this. And COVID had just started to come out and it was starting to get big and cancellations were happening, and we were hanging on. And me and Myron Golden, like, we just did not want to let go of this. Well, finally they had to cancel it. And I spiraled down into a depression, and my depression is not, I don't have clinical depression, but my depression was 3 days. It was 3 days of not being able to get out of bed. I was so upset that the world was getting locked down. I was so upset that my event got canceled, that I couldn't see my rebels, that I could not get out of bed. And my next right thing was just, can you just get out of bed? And can you just get out of bed? Can you go brush your teeth? What's the next right thing? The next right thing is to put on a bra. The next right thing is to put on your shoes. Can you just drink your water today? Sometimes, like Carrie said, you've got to break it down into baby steps.
And I think as you're talking about that, Cristy, it reminds me of a patient coming into the ICU. And for those of you that have worked medical, you'll understand what I'm saying. So a patient rolls in from the ER and we roll them in, even the ER, let's just use the ER for an example. That's a little easier to understand. So people roll in and they're like, let's just say they say I'm having chest pain. So the first thing we do is, if something bad's going on, we lay them down, we get the leads on them for the EKG. So 2 here, 1 here, 2 on each side. We get a set of vitals. We ask them their name. We ask them if they're allergic to anything. We ask them what their symptoms are. And we just take it very, very, very micro, very, very basic, very, very granular. And, they don't go, okay, well, in 87, I had this thing on my toe. And I'm telling you, I had to go in and get it lanced. And then I was on antibiotics for about a month. I didn't think that thing was going to heal up. Nobody's talking about your toe. I want to know, what's your family history for cardiac issues? Are you currently having chest pain? Tell me what it feels like. Where is it radiating to? Can we get lab in here? We need stat lab. We need to get this guy to the cath lab. And so I think sometimes, Cristy, we are just not where I always say to rebels, let's fry the big fish first. When someone comes in with a heart attack or a possible heart attack, we are thinking about the big fish. What can we do to get these blocked arteries unblocked so this person will live, so their heart quits lacking oxygen, ischemia? So I think sometimes rebels, and me too, with lots of things in my life, I just get the water so muddied. I want to look at the weight loss process, and I want to talk about my toe infection from 1984. Mm-hmm. Now, toe infections are appropriate at some point, but right now, can you just eat off the list? That's all I'm asking you to do. That's all I'm asking you to do. And even, Cristy, let's break this down a little bit more macro. So Betty wakes up. There was a gal we knew in California named Betty Strasbaugh, and she won on the last Q&A we had in the app. She won a prize, and she literally was there when you and I were born. She's known us since we were babies. So every time I use Betty's name, I always think, I hope she doesn't listen to the podcast and that's funny. So Betty wakes up, and Betty is, she's on a weight loss journey. Betty, what's the next right thing? Go pee and get on the scale, and then take out your phone. And I always open up my phone to the Lose It app, so I have it ready, when I get out, and then I am going to stand on the scale, and then I'm going to type that number in, and I can see what the days before number was. And so that's the next right thing. Then Betty, you had your water sitting by the bed. I want you to grab that water and drink it. And then when you go downstairs, you're not going to look in the cupboard. You're not going to do this. You're going to keep drinking your water. And Cristy, this has helped me so much in my journey. Y'all are probably like, let me tell you, I don't have it figured out. I mean, I hope I understand the process, but there are days when I have to just do the next right thing, like Cristy's depression. So let's take it down to that real basic level. And I think that would be super helpful for people.
So sis, have you ever had, I know that you don't suffer from depression, neither do I, but have you ever had those moments like what I described where you could barely even get out of bed? Have you ever, I've never heard you even talk about something like that, but has that ever happened to you?
I don't think that I have depression. I definitely felt like going back to bed. I don't know, because I had kids, if I ever was just laying in bed, but I will tell you, there was a time, and this was a couple years ago, that I was at mom's house. I don't think you know about this. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should text you this before I say it on a podcast. Cristy, is it okay if I talk about this on a podcast? And something happened to my mental state, and I just went face down. I had no children. I had no responsibilities. I was at mom's house. I know what it was. One of my flights got canceled. So I ended up having to stay an extra day or two, and I wasn't with you. And we love mom. She's great. But I ordered pizza. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I didn't just eat my normal one piece or two. I ate all of it, which is not like me to go that deep. But there was something about wanting to be home, flights getting canceled. It was cold. You couldn't go outside and do very much. I'm stuck in a house with my mom, which is fine. We're watching movies. And I didn't go to the gym. I went face down, and it was like a 2-day spiral of just crap. I mean, did I come out of it damaged? Yeah. I mean, I couldn't sleep. My stomach hurt. I couldn't poop. I was a mess. So I finally was like, stop. It's like someone just needed to grab me and say, stop, go get a bottle of water and drink it. And it's just so easy. It's like, you just get out of bed, Cristy. And we make now, Cristy, I could have spent the next 5 years like, oh my God, what was I doing? Where was my brain? Who cares? Quit, pull yourself away from the crap, throw it in the garbage, and get up and drink your water. And so sometimes when you're struggling, it's just that next, like Cristy said, that next right thing. Ask yourself that. I'm walking downstairs. I know the food is down there. What's the next right thing I'm going to do?
Yeah, I like that. I appreciate you being vulnerable with us. I think that's why the 7-day total body reset is the perfect example of helping you do the next right thing. It's really it's people who are beyond rock bottom. It's people who are really, really, really at super rock bottom. And they, like Carrie says, they have to reach up to touch the bottom. They are beyond, they are underground. And the 7-day total body reset, if you go to coderedlifestyle.com/reset, if that's you, that's only $17. And it's going to help you take the small baby steps. It's so small that you just can't fail at it. You really can't, because it only focuses on really, really tiny little steps and one thing at a time. And I get these people, we have people that are like, I'm an all or nothing girl. I'm an all or nothing girl. I'm either all in or all out. That it doesn't need to be that way, because I know that you think, well, if I'm just doing one little thing, it's not enough, or it's not, it's not making a difference. It is making a difference when you do the next right thing. And the next right thing is just getting on the scale. And the next right thing is just writing it down on your tracking sheet. And the next right thing is just, can you just do one bottle of water? Can you just do one today? Can you do, so it does build up into more steps and into better habits. You got to start somewhere, but it's a couple of things, I've got a little excited and I flipped my hand. A couple of things we get it. First of all, we get it. We understand. Carrie and I both have just shared something with you that's personal. And I think that it's too bad that more people in our position aren't doing that with people nowadays, because we want you to know we get it. That doesn't make it okay, but we get it. The second thing is you need to start somewhere, and it needs to be granular. Like, don't try to overthink it. There's a lady, Carrie, in our maintenance group, and she overthinks everything. She is and she gets herself into these messes because she overthinks everything. And recently she wants to become a better runner. And she said, what is a respectable running speed for a 5K? And I said, what are you talking? Are you an 88-year-old grandmother recovering from a hip replacement, or are you trying to qualify for the Boston Marathon? That's not fair. It's just improvement. So we're asking you, can you just improve this much today?
We have a lot of people on our program, Cristy, because all of the home study programs that you can purchase in the app, that kind of gets you dialed in with your macros. It's a great way to go. Those all come across my desk, so I can look at them, review everything, make sure everything's right before I send them out. So at the time of this recording, that's the way we're doing it. And we have a lot of people that have 100+ pounds to lose. And a lot of them reach out to me that it is very overwhelming. And by the way, you can be overwhelmed by 5 pounds. I'm not saying it has to be 100. So, but they'll have 100 pounds to lose, and it's very overwhelming. And I just say, just baby steps to you remember Bill Murray, baby steps to the doctor's office, baby steps on the bus, you have to take it down to the next right thing. If you look at that whole 100 pounds, yes, that will overwhelm you. But I just want you to think about just today doing the right thing. Cristy is absolutely right. It builds better habits. So the more you do the right thing, the better you feel. The more you want to do the right thing, the better you feel. The more you want to do the right thing, it will, I promise you. To those of you that are overwhelmed right now, to those of you that are emotionally stalled and it's stalling out your progress, just when you get overwhelmed, stop, close your eyes, take a breath, and say, what's the next right thing? When I come home from the gym, Cristy, my evening classes, I'm always hungry. I'm not hungry. I'm hungry in my stomach. I'm pointing to my stomach. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not other way around. I'm not hungry in my stomach. I'm hungry in my head. That's what I'm trying to say. So the other day I pulled up to the house knowing that I would want to eat something and I don't need to, it's late. I stopped in the car, Cristy, I took a breath and I said, what's the next right thing? And I said, Carrie, you're going to walk in, you're going to refill your water bottle, and you're going to go upstairs to the shower. You don't have to stop at the pantry. You don't need it. You don't need sunflower seeds. Even Code Red food will make you fat, y'all. I don't need a hard-boiled egg. I just need to go upstairs to the shower. And so I actually said that to myself and it worked. So I want to encourage you, if you're overwhelmed, stop, take a breath, close your eyes and say, what's the next right thing to do? Don't think about all of it. Just focus on the little thing you can do next.
Every single, well, I'm going to say every single, because I've just heard this so many times, I can't even begin to tell you. They say what they do, every single person, and myself included. I know Carrie maybe has done this too, but I can speak for myself when I say that they'll mess up. They'll have a handful of M&Ms or they'll have a handful of Hershey's Kisses when they're walking by their coworker's desk. And they say to themselves, you know what? F it. The day is already screwed up. I'm just going to go ahead and have what I want and start tomorrow. Can we just tell you, don't do that. Don't piss away the whole day because you think it's ruined. It's ruined now. I might as well go ahead and order that pizza. It's ruined now. I might as well go ahead and have that chocolate cake left over from my 5-year-old granddaughter's birthday party. It's ruined now. I might as well go ahead and stop through the Carl's Jr. drive-through. It's ruined now. Just never mind. I'll start over tomorrow. Do you know your body doesn't know that? Your body doesn't reset. Again, it does clean itself out at night, and it does use the nighttime to clean itself out and to reset and rejuvenate and stuff, but it's not on a clock like you think it is. So stop saying, well, I'll just start over fresh tomorrow. You can, but a lot of you guys are saying, I made one mistake. I'm just going to go ahead and just throw away the whole rest of the day. Stop. What is the next right thing? Stop, turn, grab your water.
Yes. And that's what I did at Mom's house, Cristy. I was like, well, I already screwed up. Let's just go whole hog. And I did not, if I would have just stopped after the first time I ordered pizza and said, Carrie, throw it away, get back on track, I would not have 2 days of being ridiculous, but I did. And that is how you regain your weight. That's how you regain your weight. You put too many of those face down at Mom's house together, and you'll regain everything you've worked so hard to lose. And I know this because I see it every day. So, Cristy, I was in class the other day, and one of our fellow exercisers said, I just have had the worst day. I was doing so good eating all week. And for lunch, I had a Reese's peanut butter cup and some popcorn. And I said to her, okay. Well, and she's trying to do Code Red. Okay, well, stop. Next meal isn't like that one. And she just looked at me. I said, just drink a bottle of water and move on. Do I think that was the best idea? No. Is that going to set her back? Absolutely. But to beat yourself up and not move forward because of I told her it's okay to kind of fall off the wagon. Like we don't encourage that, but we understand that happening. But dragging a foot behind the wagon and then getting back on is completely different than the wagon running down the road. And you're like, oh, there goes the wagon. That's a different situation. So I said to her, Cristy and I are going to do a podcast on the next right thing. And I said to her, what's the next right thing you can do? She said, well, when I get home, I'm just going to have chicken. I said, perfect. Have some chicken and then call it good. Drink your water. How much of your water do you have in? So I agree with Cristy. It is just so easy to get caught up in that mentality of a mistake, and that will get you off track. And before you know it, this insidious thing happens. And this is how we see people all the time. And in fact, we had someone in leadership that stepped down, and they wrote to me and said, I've regained some of my weight and I just need to review the what's eating you. And I need to do this. And I said, stop, just start drinking your water every day. Can you do that? Email me in a day and let me know how you're doing. So Cristy and I have 100 examples of this phenomenon happening in weight loss.
Yeah, like I want to say to those guys, what are you going to go do now? Are you going to go throw it up? I mean, the damage is done. The damage is done. So, and don't sit there. I don't like, sis, when people are like, I made a mistake. No, you didn't make a mistake. You made a choice. Let's not call it a mistake. You made a mistake and turned down the wrong road. That's a mistake. All right. You made a mistake and you picked up, you picked up the wrong Uber rider. Like that's a mistake. But putting something in your mouth, that's a choice. You made a choice. So maybe that's just me. I'm pretty hard, but what are you going to do now? It's eaten. We don't want you to throw it up. Okay. So we have to move forward. Beating yourself up. I will say, I do like when people examine where they went wrong. I do like when people say, all right, the Lucky Charms is in the house. So when I'm triggered, I'm going to go eat them. Yeah, that's why we always encourage you clean out the cupboards. Carrie and I do not have junk food in our house. We have to, if we want it, we would have to go drive to get it and pay money and get it. And we're just not going to, you can't, recovering sugar addicts don't keep sugar in their house, and recovering drug addicts don't keep drugs in their cupboard. So like, let's call it what it is. Don't say, like I made a mistake. No, you made a choice. And what are you going to do now about it? You have to move forward. You have to do the next right thing.
And for my friend that ate the popcorn and the Reese's for lunch, I said, well, what was the problem? I said, did you not have your jerky and your hard-boiled egg and your nut butter ready to rock and roll? No. Okay. So you didn't plan. So you planned to fail. And that's okay. Let's remedy that. And Cristy, I know my triggers coming home from the gym after especially a harder workout, not a Cristy Code Red hard, but like a Carrie Thompson hard. Let's be clear. But I know that I'm going to be hungry walking in the door. That's a trigger. I know that even if I technically am not hungry, I know that midday after I eat, I'm going to say, I want something sweet. No, you just ate. You don't need anything sweet. That's a trigger for me. So I know my trigger. So we should, like Cristy said, we should examine, we should know where we went wrong, but don't follow that wagon behind talking about it. Just get back on it.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Like, don't keep talking about it. I love that. Like, okay. So like, we get it. But I told we do something called Coach Connection, where you can sign up with a coach and you can get daily messages, live messages from your coach, and weekly meetings with a coach in a group setting. And it's small group connection. That's why we call it Coach Connection. And it's really great. And it's a screaming deal. And we offer that every couple of months. It's a 2-month program. And so I have my own people that signed up with me, and I told them it's Saturday morning, Carrie and I it's Saturday morning when we're recording this. And I told them this morning, I was like, whatever bull crap you pulled last night. First of all, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know about it because it upsets me too bad. Number 2, you got to face the consequences. So you get on that scale and you have got to face that number, because the scale is the first line of defense. It tells you what you did wrong or right and to repeat it or avoid it. And that's why we always weigh ourselves every day. We always write it down on the tracking sheet or put it in your Lose It app, and you have to be held accountable. And then what's the next right thing after that? Like, the next right thing, of course, is stripping down naked and getting on that scale. Let's get a good readout and let's figure out what happened. If you made good choices, that scale is going to reward you. And if you made bad, well, you're going to have to pay the consequences. Every action has consequences, good and bad. And so now today, we grab your water and we get moving in the right direction. We eat off the food list. We adhere to the rules. We eat 2 or 3 meals a day. We space them 5 hours apart. That's we just move forward. We move forward, and we don't get hung up on what's wrong with me? Oh, I'm so effed up. And oh my gosh, we have so many programs to help you. I am so glad that I know my triggers too, sis. I know that talking about taxes, it's my trigger. It's my trigger. So I have a CFO who handles that stuff. And he shields me from all that, from knowing all the details. I can't do it. I walk like a zombie to the refrigerator, but also I don't keep crap in my house. And I don't have anything to turn to if the going gets rough. I know my triggers. I know having to fire an employee is going to trigger me to want to overeat. And so guys, what's eating you is going to help you identify your triggers. But right now, we want to tell you, Do the next right thing. Stop looking at big picture, get it down, narrow it down, and say, what's the next step for right this second?
Yeah. And if you can walk in that for a couple of days, that will really help you reset. The next right thing is not stopping at McDonald's, just drive home. And I will say out loud to myself, you're not hungry, drive home. Or you're thirsty, not hungry. And I talk to myself like that, Cristy, and it helps me carry, you're stressed, you're not hungry. I don't care if people think I'm crazy. It works really well for me, this concept.
I talk to myself out loud. I catch myself having conversations in my head of people who I really want to tell off. And so I have this fake conversation going on. Well, they'll say this, then I'll say that in my mind. And then they'll say this, and then I'll say that. And then I'll walk up to them and I'll say, let me tell you something. And I'll spin this stupid conversation that will never happen, or even if it should never happen. And I have to say out loud to myself, Cristy, stop. You're taking up brain space with something that is ridiculous. Why? You would never say that to somebody. So I talk out loud to myself when I get myself to do an about face. I say, hey, and I do the same thing with food. I'll walk by the Cinnabon, or I'll walk by something and people are like, that stuff doesn't even smell good to me anymore. You're crazy. You've lost your ever loving mind if you think Cinnabon doesn't smell good. Even after doing Code Red for many years, it still smells good to me. And whatever. And so I'll say, nope, as I'm walking by, because I live downtown. And so I walk by all kinds of things that smell good. And I, nope, you're fine. You don't need that. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it, And and of course, Vinny is looking at me like, is she talking to me? Guys, Carrie and I, we're leading this revolution, and we're talking out loud to ourselves. You got to do whatever it takes to stay on track and to do the next right thing.
Amen. That's perfect. I love it. I ain't even got anything to add to that.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. Of course, we would appreciate you reviewing and rating and sharing with people that you think. It's always best to not try to argue with somebody. Just let us do the talking and share these podcasts with somebody that you think it's going to help. And of course, let your testimony be the message that spreads. Don't try to talk about what you're doing. People will ask if they're interested, but just let your own progress be the one that shines through, and it gets attention. Let me tell you, someone's always watching. So share this podcast if you think it would be helpful, and we'll see you on the next episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. Take care, everybody. Hey, I'm Cristy Code Red, and thank you for listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. If you want to stay connected to other rebels like you, join us in our private network. Our Code Red app is a one-stop shop, free from ads, algorithms, and censorship, and a place where you can see, listen, and watch everything Code Red. You'll be encouraged, motivated, and fired up to stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Get recipe ideas, tips, tricks, and help from coaches, mentors, and other rebels. You can also purchase products, programs, and coaching all right there in one place. And if you have any trouble navigating the app, we're right there to help you. Go to coderedlifestyle.com/APP to join for free. And I'll see you on the next episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle.